Welcome everybody to the Greenfork Food for Thought podcast. I'm Stephen Zabala, your host, and today's guest is Rachael Charbonneau. She is a national board certified health and wellness coach, a mental health and well-being coach, and she's been doing it for quite a while. She's also a Saratoga native and local. So welcome. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how you got started into like health and wellness and all that.
Yeah, I'll try not to ramble too much on this part. I get really excited.
Yeah.
So I always had a really strong interest in health and wellness from a really young age, mainly because I had very bad stomach issues as a kid.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just normalized.
Yeah.
And then as I became a teenager and then into my adult life, I had really bad acne as well. And so it kind of became this like self-interest journey to figure out what was going on. I thought maybe it was the food, and I think it was for a long time. And then I realized much later on that it was a combination of things, but stress had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So when it came time to going to college and deciding on what direction I wanted to go into at the ripe old age of 17.
Right.
I was between a nutrition major and a graphic design major, and I ultimately decided to go for graphic design, which I don't regret at all.
Yeah.
It served me very well. And when I graduated school, I decided to only work with health and wellness or healthcare companies. So I moved out to San Francisco at that time, and I started working with a company called Health 2.0, and they tracked the progression of technology in the healthcare industry. So it was really cool because I got to see all the innovation that was happening.
Yeah.
And about 8-9 years into that, I decided I wanted to work more directly with people and wanted to follow that original calling.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what that looked like. Did I want to go back to school, become a registered dietitian?
Yeah.
I was in my mid-20s at this point, and I ultimately decided to try a health coaching certification.
Yeah.
I didn't know what a health coach was at the time.
Yeah.
I just was like, I need to do something while I'm working just to see, like, is this really a true interest that I want to follow? Got totally sold on the idea of a health coach, became a health coach, became a yoga instructor, left my all my design contracts, went full time for about a year and a half. And then I realized that and at this point I was living in Southern California. Then I realized I could combine my design background and design thinking background with health coaching.
That's a cool combination.
Yeah. Especially because there's such a behavior change component with design and design thinking. And, I mean, from a marketing perspective, how do you get people to buy?
Yeah, right.
What's their buying behavior?
Yeah.
So I started working with a company called Headspace, which is a meditation app.
Yep.
We were a stealth mode company within Headspace called Headspace Health, which has since folded, and then now there's a separate Headspace Health, another Headspace Health once they merged with Ginger, but this was about 2 years prior to that merger. So that was the first time I realized I could combine those two interests of mine, and I was part of a team that helped design a separate app, a coaching program, and for those living with a specific chronic condition exacerbated by stress.
Okay.
And that's where I learned acceptance and commitment coaching, which we'll get to eventually.
Yeah.
And then we tested that through a few clinical trials. Then the pandemic happened. Funds changed. The merger happened with Ginger. I was offered something on that side, but at the same time, Walgreens was knocking on my door. So I went over to Walgreens, built 2 programs over there, and then now I'm with the American Heart Association, doing program development, not exactly with coaching, but I'm in lifestyle behavior change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and still coaching as well on the side.
That's an interesting path. You got to know the business very well. Like you went into it to work with people, but then ended up getting the business side of it and helping more people ultimately, right?
Yeah.
Like the design of an app is going to help way more people than you could do one-on-one, which is great. And those things are very, very important. I started using an app called Headspace is your thing. It's called, no, it's Waking Up.
Oh, I don't know this one.
Sam Harris's app.
Okay.
It's just a meditation app, but there's tons of talks on like spirituality and like real kind of more modern psychology, lifestyle changes and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's been beneficial to me, so
Okay.
it's pretty cool, and that's a cool journey. Yeah. So this acceptance and commitment coaching. So as I told you off camera, I'm actually starting the process of becoming a health coach myself.
Yeah,
It seems
congratulations.
super. Thank you. It seems like something, just a natural progression of what I am put here to do, my purpose, and that is to help people. And having gone through a tough time recently, like this past 6 months or so, have been tough. And, I'm utilizing all these tools, some old, some new, to kind of heal myself and, understand myself a lot better and understand that life is a constant journey. Everything's changing all the time. And it's, what can you do about it?
Yeah.
You have to accept a lot of things. So when I was gearing up to like studying up on you a little bit and some of your Substack articles, which everybody should check out because very beneficial. Some of the stuff I was reading, I was like, oh, wow, this is hitting home for me, so that just sort of solidified that I want to do this too.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I'm so
for
glad
sure.
I gave you that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said off camera, I feel like people become coaches, people become healers and helpers because they themselves have gone through things and they realize what it's like on that side, and to be on the other side of it, to feel good and be at an optimal level, is way better. And I want to help people get to that point, whether it's fitness, nutrition, or mental health coaching or whatever.
Yeah. Well, you're such a natural coach anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's, I don't think I knew you before you were a fitness coach or into Greenfork and nutrition. So I don't know if that was natural prior to that, but
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I've always been easy to talk to, I've heard.
Yeah.
So in that way, I guess. Yeah.
You're a good listener, which is like one of the biggest skills that you need.
Right. Yeah. And
coach.
I feel like I'm part therapist when I do one-on-one fitness coaching sometimes.
Yeah.
The stuff people tell me, I'm like, okay, maybe you need to go somewhere else for that. But, I'm happy to talk. So I've heard a lot of crazy stuff over the years. But let's talk about acceptance and commitment coaching, because when I was reading in your Substack, you have an article about that. And that one specifically is something I'm working on. So what is it?
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
So if we were to dwindle it down to just one or two lines about what it is, it's a coaching modality that helps a person to show up for the things in their life that are really important to them more often, even if it's uncomfortable to do so.
Yeah.
So it was originally a therapeutic model, acceptance and commitment therapy, and it's been translated into a coaching modality, and for good reason. And the difference there, I think it's helpful to understand the difference between coaching and therapy, because there can be a gray area and there's a lot of misinformation out there too.
Sure.
So this is a generalization and there's more nuance to it, but in general, therapy is more looking backwards while coaching is more looking forward. So
that makes sense.
You might talk about some of the same things. Of course, you're not going, as a coach, you're not diagnosing and you're not treating by any means, right? But you might talk about some of the same things, but in therapy, you're maybe more understanding like why a behavior is happening, or why a situation keeps repeating, where in coaching, it's more about figuring out the tools and how to move forward from the situation. And so with acceptance and commitment coaching, again, it's like, how can you show up for the things that are really important to you? And it's more often, even if it's uncomfortable to do so. And not to say that it doesn't push you to, if it's all workable,
if it's not ready yet.
If you're not ready yet. And that's where the coaching comes in, right? So you meet people where they are.
I feel like people get stuck on these thought patterns like I did, just talk about my experience. I got stuck in a loop of thought patterns that were not serving me, right? And asking why all the time, and trying to figure out why why this happened and why I did what I did, or whatever the case may be, why I responded to a situation that way, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Looking back, and then, you know, ultimately it came down to like, well, you know, you can't change it. You have to accept it, accept who you are. You can make little changes here, you know, but like initially you just have to accept where you are. That's number one, or accept the situation.
Yeah.
It is what it is. What can I do to move forward?
Yeah. Right. And so an acceptance, thanks for sharing that, by the way.
Yeah.
An acceptance and commitment coaching is, I like to clarify that it's not about resignation.
Yeah.
Like we're not saying that this is my life. You just have to accept it.
Yeah.
These are the thoughts that come up. I just have to accept it.
Yeah.
It's more about accepting that the thoughts are there, or the thoughts are coming up, or maybe not just thoughts, but the emotions or the situation is happening. And how can I kind of move forward while that's happening, or
and
while
not
those
get
thoughts
stuck.
are right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went to this like Buddhist meditation thing, and I find a lot of peace, and I find a lot of knowledge in the tool set through Buddhism and spirituality.
Yeah.
It's funny how psychology, like modern psychology and the stuff you're talking about, and like ancient wisdom are one and the same, really. It's just different ways of putting it. Like you say, accepting things, and I would say like attachment is suffering, right? So you have to let go of the things that you're holding on to, so that you can be free from suffering, which is almost never, you can never really actually do that. But, you know, but back to the thoughts, like, why are your thoughts so powerful? And how do we get to, because they are, right? Like I said, sometimes thoughts come into my head and it's like, they'll just repeat and repeat and repeat. And what I've learned to do is like not give them power. But that's what I've learned. So what do you think about that? Yeah.
So, well, I want to go back to what you said for a second on spirituality and science being so like interconnected, or modern psychology being so interconnected. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And actually learning acceptance and commitment coaching grounded some of the spiritual elements that I'd learned through yoga and just kind of the woo-woo that that I was really into for a long time. And then started really questioning, like, I don't understand why people are saying, just like throwing these big terms and these big thoughts out there.
Yeah, that's the problem, I think.
So, ACT like grounded that for me. Because there's this whole, and we'll get into it more when I start to answer your question on why thoughts are so powerful, but there's 6 processes of ACT. I won't go through all of them right now, but one of them is like self as context, or context of the self. And so, but in a lot of spiritual communities, that's like, you know, being the observer of yourself. But there's actual science to back that, you know, through ACT, which is really cool. So I'm glad that you said that. So the original question was,
why are thoughts so powerful sometimes, and what do you do about it? How do you not get like ruled by them?
Yeah. So I think it can be helpful to go back to why our brains are the way they are, and understanding brains. And I don't know everything about it, right? But ACT is based off of a language theory, theory of how we learn language called relational frame theory. And without going so deep into it, really what relational frame theory shows is that our brains were built on problem solving. So when we start learning language, when kids start learning language, the old thinking was that everything was by association, like pointing to something, and you would just like memorize, like, this is a can. You know, and then and there is a little bit of that going on, right? But relational frame theory is a theory of language that it's actually that we problem solve. So if I were to say, like, this is a notebook, and then say, which is the phone? Like saying, like, you don't know what either of these words are, right? I'm like, this is the notebook. Okay, then which one's the phone? You would, in your brain, problem solve that. Okay,
50-50.
That's a notebook, then that must be the phone. Okay, then that's the phone. And then so that's how we learn language as humans. So it's through problem solving.
Okay.
Then we become adults, and well, even as kids, kids
Yeah.
have their own problems too.
Sure.
Slew of them,
Yeah.
We become adults, and problem solving starts to kind of backfire on us. So certain words maybe have a connotation because we just relate them to, or emotions or scenarios, right? We just relate that specific word or emotion or scenario to something else because something bad might have happened.
Yeah.
And to keep ourselves safe, because our brain's job is to keep ourselves safe, and keep you safe and out of harm's way. To do that, you might not show up for something that you really care about, or you might not be living a life that you want to be living because of these thoughts and emotions that come up. So you kind of start to let them rule your life.
Yeah.
So that's why they're so powerful.
Yeah, because
we don't have to let them be powerful.
Because they're attached to past traumas or whatever.
Or just how we
connotations in our head that are attached to so they become powerful. And they sometimes can really halt your performance or your goals or whatever. Like you're not good enough, you can't do this, why even bother, why try, stuff like that. Powerful, very powerful, negatively, not in a good way. And it's crazy. And that helps shape your reality, right? Your perception shapes your reality. That's kind of the next question I was going to ask you, is like, how does our perception actually shape our reality? But I think you sort of already answered it, right? Like, these things that we learn as kids, we develop these coping mechanisms and responses to things in our head that like make us see the world in a certain way, and certain things are dangerous and whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we kind of like live by those rules that our brains have come up with. And we have to remember, like, our brain's just doing its job, So like, it's okay, brain. Thank you for keeping me safe, but I want to actually, I want to move on and break this pattern.
So how do you break those patterns?
Yeah. So there's so many ways.
There's a lot of ways. Yeah.
But
it would depend on the problem, probably, right?
Yeah. It depends on the problem. But so there's 6 processes in ACT, and I like to use those as a framework. Of course, that's not the only way that I coach, but using those as a framework. One of the 6 processes is defining your values. Yeah. So what do you really care about? And if nothing else in coaching, that's what I'll rely on, or that's what I'll do. Like, even if I just have one session with somebody for whatever reason, like, that's what we're going to talk about is what do you really care about? And values can change, right? Sure. They change over time. We're not born into them. What you valued probably 6 months ago, even a year ago, from everything you've gone through, it's probably a little different now, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, defining your values. And the reason why we do that is because they're such a powerful motivator. Everyone talks about motivation and finding motivation and this and that, and your values are your motivator, right? Yeah.
Your why.
Yeah, your why. Yeah. Like, showing up for yourself is one thing, but showing up because, like, it's attaching to your value of health and vitality because you want to live a long time to be around for, your kids when they get older. Yeah. That's really powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
So defining your values is one way, and keeping them top of mind, especially when thinking of making any sort of, like, bold move or a move that in the face of change. Yeah. So that's one. Values, actually, I have them categorized here. Okay. Yeah. So I like to categorize them. Yeah. So doing what matters, open up and be present. Doing what matters, your values, right? Mm-hmm. And I actually probably should have talked about these 2 last, but that's okay. We'll go with it. And committed action is another process. And they don't go in order, right? Okay. They all interact. Committed action is taking that's a little bit self-explanatory. It's taking action in the direction of your values. Yeah. Right. So that's doing what matters. Yeah. And it's interesting too, because when you define your values and then kind of start to like rate them of like not against each other, but of how connected you feel to them, it starts to get interesting. You're like, I'm not actually, that's where I'm not feeling too hot, Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you'd have to really, like, for me, like, search within to, like, really discover that, because you could just write anything down, you know, that sounds good. But, like, you have to connect to yourself to really understand what your values are. You know, it's easy to say, like, honor, strength, you know, whatever.
Right.
But, like, what do you really want to do?
Yeah. And with that, you can pick out of a list of values, and that's a great exercise too. And there's value sorting cards and stuff, and those are fun. I personally like to actually just do more creative exercises with people and ask some high mileage questions, like, you know, one being like, what would be your perfect day, and then start to like pull out like, okay, well, why would that be part of your perfect day, you know, and then start to peel back the layers of the onion. Another thing that's interesting too is like what you value and what you hear about and what you struggle with are two sides of the same coin. So there's a powerful exercise that I like to do with clients too, which is like to think about a time you got frustrated, angry, or upset, and what came up, what was happening for you, and then start to flip those feelings around to see what values you weren't honoring.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that exercise because then you can take that into like the next conflict that you go into.
I've heard that said. I was listening to a podcast recently, and they were like, if you don't know what you do want, list what you don't want, and then flip it. And then that's what you want, right? Like if you don't want chaos, you want peace or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Powerful exercise.
Yeah.
So we went over do what matters, open up. So open up, so the next two are diffusion and acceptance. So we started to talk about acceptance a little while ago, but acceptance is more, again, it's not about resignation, but acceptance of the thoughts and feelings that come up.
Yeah.
So accepting that, not accepting them as truth. They're not necessarily true.
Yeah.
So not accepting them as truth, but accepting just that they exist.
Sure.
And that right there, like, I don't know about you, but it like makes me breathe a sigh of relief a little bit. Like,
yeah. It's just your perception of things, right? It's not true. Like there's you and then me and then there's the truth, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
so,
you know, it's just the way that you're feeling, and that is okay. And I think one of the biggest things for me as far as acceptance is like doing the loving kindness meditations.
That's a great one.
Metta, for myself, and just like, whereas I used to kind of beat myself up about things that didn't go right for me, you know, and say, you could have done this different. I think it's like acceptance and ownership took to an extreme where it got to be like, it was just really hard on myself. Yeah. And now I'm like starting to meet my former self and all these thoughts and things that come up with like, okay, I'll give you some space. You know, we can feel this way for a little bit, and then usually it'll dissipate and I'm able to move forward that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that space between thoughts is huge. Yeah. And that's actually the diffusion part.
Yeah.
So diffusion it's the opposite. The opposite is cognitive fusion, and diffusion is cognitive diffusion. So it's defusing from your thoughts. Okay. So it's not to say that we're like completely ignoring every thought that comes up, right? Because like thinking's how we move through the world, right?
That'd be like dissociation or something, right?
Right, right. So we're not dissociating here. But cognitive diffusion is giving yourself that like space through the thoughts to remind yourself that it's just a thought. It's like that idea of sitting on the side of a highway and seeing cars go by without having to chase by every single one of them. Chase after every single one of them. Yep. Or grab on the attention to every single one of them. So it's the same thing. So there's a lot of really fun exercises with diffusion that I think are like almost rooted in comedy in a way, because you kind of have to like laugh, like oh yeah, okay, that's it doesn't have to be so serious, you know. So the acceptance part, and with acceptance, there's in terms of how you implement them, there's how you implement acceptance. There's a lot of exercises that are mainly around meditation. So you mentioned the loving kindness meditation.
Yeah, when you talk about the cognitive diffusion.
Yeah.
It makes me think of just like awareness of like being a bit observer, like you said before, like, you know, not being in the thought and not running after it, but just watching it, you know, just being like, so you say step back a little bit. It's like, that's awareness right there.
Yeah.
And one of the questions I have is, why is that so hard to do sometimes? You just it feels like you get caught up in things and you feel lost. And then maybe after that moment is past, at the end of the day or whatever, and you're sitting back, you're like, oh, whoa, what, I was just on autopilot or whatever. So like, we all know kind of what awareness is, or at least I hope a lot of people do know.
Yeah.
But why is it so hard to actually like implement that 24 hours a day?
Yeah. Because we're human.
Because we're not perfect. We're not like sitting in a cave meditating all day every day.
Yep. Because we're human and our lives are really busy. We're not supposed to be this busy, but we are.
Yeah.
We're just doing our best out here.
Mm.
And a lot of the times, I think it's because from, you know, my current thinking is that we need to be doing these exercises. It's best to be doing these exercises like outside of the moments, so then you can prepare for the moments.
Yeah.
To answer your question more directly, I think our brains are, again, built to problem solve, and especially if there like isn't an answer to something, we're going to keep trying. So like I love using the example of like a relationship ending versus like a situationship ending. Do you know the difference? You know, do you know what I mean? What a situationship? Yeah. It's got a name now, right?
Yeah.
That's what the kids call it. But like I'm not saying every relationship, but usually, more times than not, a relationship has like a clear ending. Like you try. I don't want to say it every time, right? But there's probably a clear conversation or several. There's a lot of trial and error, and there was a clear ending, and you know why. Where maybe a situationship you play over and over in your head again, even years later, even though you know you want nothing to do with this person or have no attraction to this person, but there wasn't an end. Most times, more times than not, there isn't an ending, right? Yeah. So your brain tends to just want to continue to try and fill the gaps and make a story up that makes sense until like the problem is solved. Yeah. So if there isn't an ending, usually we continue to think about it.
Yeah. And then that's where like ultimately you just have to accept that you don't have an answer and just move on.
Yeah. Right. And that's where the acceptance comes in.
Yeah. And then letting go too. You had a whole article on that, the fart of letting go.
Yeah. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. I appreciated the sense of humor. I was like, oh, okay, nice. Fart jokes. Great. But
fart jokes.
But letting go is really hard. And I think it comes along kind of with what you were just saying. Like, you know, if you end a relationship, for me, it was really tough to let this person go. You know, and just the thought of her like constantly in my head just for a long time, you know. I was thinking about it like, say you're in a relationship and it's not just the length of the relationship that you thought about this person every day. Yeah. It's like from the moment you met them, you know, till the day it was over. And then that's a long time for someone to be in your headspace and heart space for you to just like let go immediately. And so it's a process, right? Yeah. But ultimately, that's what happens, right? So are there things that you've discovered that help with that process? And because it's never like cut and dry, but are there things you can do to like help with that?
Yeah. So, and again, thanks for sharing that. I know it sounds like you've been going through it. Yeah. Well, so these 6 processes, the last 2, one being present moment awareness, and then the other being self as context. Which kind of I think goes hand in hand with diffusion, because it's like diffusing from the thoughts and then being able to just observe them. Yeah. So those 6 processes kind of together, there's various exercises you can do. But I think one helpful image that helps me at least is when thinking about letting go and trying to like let go of these feelings, person as a whole, like again, coming back to acceptance that those thoughts are going to pop up, you know, those memories are going to pop up. time definitely helps, right? But also starting to remember that visual. I like to think of the like letting go as like in your brain, the situation or the person or whatnot is probably like, if you remove all thoughts and emotions and feelings around it, it's probably like, it would probably take up like this much space in your brain, right? But then our brain, which naturally likes to problem solve, goes in and tries to like make sense of it, problem solve it, whatever it might be doing. And it starts to take up more like this much, probably even more than that, because you're just trying to control it. Yeah. And the reality is it's like, it's an illusion. Like there's no controlling, like it happened. Yeah. Right. Or it ended or whatever. And I know that sounds harsh. I don't mean it as harsh.
It's the truth.
But it's saying like, that's the actual situation is probably this big, and this is where stress comes from, is when we're trying to control it. Yeah. So the acceptance part is really, how can we accept that it's still going to pop up, those memories are going to pop up, the thoughts are going to pop up, and then we can, when we start to accept over time, we start to see it dissipate. It's not just the acceptance too, it's the maybe you want to start putting yourself out there. I don't know. Maybe you want to start putting yourself out there again, right? But you're nervous about about how things ended, how things happened, that you'll act the same way again, that or whatever, or the same thing will happen again. But that's where the values piece comes in. If you really value maybe having a loving partnership and somebody to share your life with, or whatever that might be for you, you might be able to bring, when you're ready. Again, it's all workable. So when you're ready, I wouldn't do it hot off the fresh off the press, you know? When you're ready, you could, keeping those values in mind, front and center, and remembering that those thoughts of like, I'm not good enough, I'm not good at relationships, I'm just going to ruin this person's life too, you know? Let them be there as you show up for that first date, or as you give somebody your number for the first time.
So just live with it, right?
It's a little bit of living with it, but also giving some space with the thought. It is. It's really like living with it. And the idea is eventually it starts to dissipate and it starts to go away. And then one day you'll be like, oh my gosh, I haven't thought about her in a long time.
So two things. One, there's this idea of being able to control your thoughts. I think I heard it somewhere, like, through this practice, you can learn to control your thoughts. And I just think that's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit too.
You cannot control your thoughts. I think the wildest, craziest stuff sometimes, and I would never say it out loud, but like, stuff comes in and you're like, what the? And that's where you have to have that sense of humor and just be like, okay.
All right, brain.
Whatever.
That was wild.
So, I think that's huge. But then the second thing is, or just understanding that, you can't control your thoughts. So just let them be. And sometimes they're crazy and sometimes they're overwhelming, but just, you just keep that observer and like, it's not real and all the stuff that you said. It's a small problem. But then what was the other thing?
And not to say, sometimes it's a big problem. I'm just saying like the amount in your brain that it would take up. So I don't want anybody to listen to think that their problems aren't small. They probably aren't. They're probably big. You know? It's more about the situation versus like trying to control the situation.
I mean, I think, at least for me, speak for me, I oftentimes make things bigger than they need to be, or like, who doesn't have those shower conversations with themselves, like in a completely made up situation, you're just talking to yourself about like, what would happen in this crazy made up scenario. I don't know. Maybe my brain is different or weird.
No, welcome to me. My brain is nuts inside.
Okay, so it's not just me. I was thinking this the other day, it's kind of out there, but I was like, would it be cool to trade brains or trade, bodies with somebody just for like a day, just to see, and like, would I want to put myself in the brain of a crazy person or like a normal person, just to see like, what's it like?
probably realize that in the normal person's brain, you probably realize that we're all just nuts.
Yeah, we're all a little messed up.
Yeah.
We all need coaches and help. The one thing was like, how long do you feel, because you have to feel your emotions, you have to feel these thoughts out, give them the space, but how long do you wait? How far do you let it go? Because you don't want to get trapped in this cycle of like victimhood or whatever, this by allowing the sadness and depression, like by allowing the sadness to be there for so long, it can lead to like being stuck in that, and now you're depressed, right? So like, how long do you give these things before you kind of have to like let go of them or accept them and move forward?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's just so dependent. It depends on your history, but I do think it's helpful to, something that you said just reminded me that when thinking about these thoughts and allowing them to be there, and there's a meditation I'm happy to share with you about acceptance of thoughts and feelings, of just like allowing it. It's allowing the thoughts to be there, but it's also just like really making space for that and this new experience. Right. And so it's almost like expanding a balloon. Like, it doesn't happen all at once. So, it's like just like a little bit at a time. Like, okay, those feelings are coming up. They're probably really supercharged right now because this situation just happened. Right. And so over time, making space for them. And then eventually you have a little bit more space to be able to start to move, to move on, or to do it. And it's not even, I hate to say the word move on, right? But or the term move on, but to show up again if that's something that you care about doing.
Okay, so let's say that we've been through some stuff and we've done all the things and we're back to square one. We like went down and we built ourselves back up. We have a good solid foundation. We know our values. We have a passion, we have a purpose, and we want to start setting goals. So let's talk about goal setting and like visualization and all that kind of thing, because it's big in everything, right? You need goals for everything. I mean, this podcast is about fitness, nutrition, finances, spiritual health, mental health. All of those require you to set goals and work towards them. So what are some of the ways that you work with your clients on goal setting and visualization?
So with goal setting, I don't like jumping right in. Some people are like, will come to sessions and they're like ready. Not everybody, but there's a small part of the population that comes to like a first session is like ready to set goals. And that's great. And we might get into it right away, but I think it's really helpful to take a step back and to do two big exercises or two things first. One is to get clear on what is the bigger vision that you're looking to work towards. And you might not know exactly what that is. And that's where, starting with values can be helpful. But at least having like a general direction, like what is that bigger thing that you're looking to work for? Like paint the picture, wave a magic wand. Like what's the thing? And that can change over time, right? But what's that deep desire, right in there? That maybe you're even like a little scared to say it, but like just put it down there. Paint the picture of what you want your life to look like. Then from there, and this part doesn't matter, the order, defining your values, which I like a broken record about values, but defining your values, because they're our guiding star. And I think it can be really helpful to parse out the difference between values and goals, because sometimes when defining values, we start to get into like that, like, okay, I want to be really fit. That's kind of a goal. Right. So a value, if you think about a compass, directional, if you're traveling north, you never arrive north, right? So that's a directional. That's your value. Your goal is maybe the destinations along the way. So getting fit is like,
that's a good lofty goal.
And it's a lofty one, but it's a goal.
It's vague and generic. So like, you'd want to probably say like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to run a 5K in X amount of time or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that would be getting into, so you've got your big vision.
Yep.
You got your values. Values are up here. Then your kind of like bigger lofty goals are in the middle here,
Mm-hmm.
and start to connect those back to a value. So I want to get fit. What's a reason for you why you want to stay fit?
So I can keep up with my son.
There you go.
Yeah.
So behind that, keeping up with your son, what value do you think is in there?
Leadership, leading by example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the goal, connected to the value, but then staying fit for you.
Yeah.
Then you start to break into like their goals, but action steps,
Yeah.
which you're probably familiar with SMART goals for
Mm-hmm.
those who aren't. SMART, measurable, attainable, realistic, time bound.
Boom.
I think I said it in order.
Yeah.
I always mess up.
Specific.
I always put R and A.
Attainable,
SMART
reasonable,
goals.
and then put a time to it. Yeah.
Yeah, time
Yeah.
bound. Yeah. So, like I want to be able to, in 3 months' time, I want to be able to run a 5K.
Yeah.
And then start to break those down even more. Okay. So for this week, and I like to think of them, and I encourage people to think of them as experiments.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you get so rigid, on goals, not everybody, I know for me, I'm kind of speaking from my own experience. If I get so rigid on goals, and then I maybe don't meet it because life happens.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm lazy, it's just that other things took priority.
Yeah.
I really beat myself up. So
Yeah.
So those action steps, think about them as experiments, but at that point, to get to staying fit because of being leader for my son, that's where the SMART goal comes in, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna work out 4 times this week at 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. So it's your value is top tier, and that's what guides you there, and then you set a big goal, and then you set smaller steps to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's important, at least when I talk to my people, is you can't just have that one thing up there, way up there. You have to have steps to get there. You're going to fail at some of them, and life is going to happen.
Yeah.
But don't try to make a giant step. It's all about filling your bucket one drop at a time and taking that one step at a time, and you'll get there eventually.
Yeah. The realistic, drive that home.
Yeah.
Be realistic.
Yeah.
And take it as that experiment. So hey, that didn't work for the last 2 weeks, setting that goal for Monday, whatever I just said at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, why is that not working?
Yeah.
What about that needs to shift, and start to just get really honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And then shift it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think goals are super important to have. It keeps you driving towards something.
Mm-hmm.
Personally with my fitness, that as an example, there are times I go through weird waves where sometimes I just kind of want to play, and I'll do animal flow and kettlebells, and I've been in that kind of mode for quite a while, a more creative, playful space. But to keep me disciplined, to keep me on track, I need to have some sort of goal, whether it's a half marathon that I'm training for, or High Rocks is really big right now and buzzing. So it's a fitness competition thing. Bunch of people from the gym are doing that. So if I sign up for that, that'll give me something to train for, right? And keep me on task. And that's super important. In business, I set goals, and my personal finances, I set goals, and I set a goal to, I guess it could be a spiritual goal, is just to sit down and meditate for 15 minutes a day. So it's really important to do. You know?
It is. What are some of your big goals right now, if you want to share?
Well, since I've been going through a lot, I've kind of my goals are to kind of get through this and get to know myself a little bit better.
Yeah.
And be a softer person than I have been. I feel like I've just been so go for the past 5 years, as a entrepreneur, and I do fitness coaching all the time, and everything is so turned up and very yang, very masculine energy type stuff. what I'm feeling for myself right now is to slow everything down a little bit and just, especially this time of year, but it's just like slow down, focus on the things that matter. And then one of my goals, I guess, is like authenticity. I guess that'd be a value, right? So authenticity and compassion, and just trying to live that way, and I signed up for the health coaching thing, so I am working towards that.
Yeah. It's a big one.
It's a big goal, but for the most part, it's just living that way, or trying to make my life a little more simple and calm, and peaceful.
Yeah.
So I'm taking steps towards that, in multiple areas of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think about this stuff all the time, and again, I think it's really funny because a lot of the stuff you're saying and that you talk about and do, I understand, but from a different framework, right? From like the spiritual framework, because that's just where I go naturally.
Yeah.
So it's interesting again to see how like this stuff that's been around for centuries is now kind of coming together and just through science and
just being proven through science.
Yeah, right. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you experience some of that with like in developing the Headspace apps or like anything like that, where you just took these old ancient methods or practices and then kind of put them on there?
Definitely.
Like breathing and
definitely, because that specific program, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about the condition yet.
Oh, okay.
It's under an NDA, but I
classified.
I heard somebody else in an interview say it. So I'm like, am I allowed to say it? I don't know. I just won't, just to be. But anyways, yes. Well, that's where I went through 2 years of training on ACT underneath Dr. Rachael Charbonneau, also Rachel and Claire Purvis. Awesome. It's still both my mentors today. And so that specific program is for a chronic condition that was exacerbated by stress. And so there was a meditation arm to it, which a lot of ACT has like a very meditative component to, right? It's like becoming that observer of yourself, diffusing from your thoughts, letting them, seeing them go by, acceptance, right? The art of letting go. So there's that meditation arm. There was the ACT program arm, which was really fun to write. And then there was the coaching arm, and the coaching just like kind of brought everything in together. Yeah. But it was almost like prescriptive meditation. Yeah. It was cool.
That is cool. Like,
I hope they bring it back.
I think that meditation is very powerful. It's a huge tool that I've been able to, since I started yoga like many, many years ago. That was probably one of the biggest things that I got from my teacher training was like awareness, and I might have had it before, but you just the power of it, doing all these different meditations like inner child work and shadow work and loving kindness. And I feel like there is a meditation for most like ailments or illnesses or conditions or whatever. Like you can focus on things. I don't know if it's been scientifically proven, this might be pseudoscience, but like people have healed diseases and healed neuropathy and limbs and things through breath work and meditation. Like it's very powerful.
I don't know the exact science. I've heard this too. Like, my current thinking is that, and again, this is my perspective, and I hope somebody studies it. Well, we do know that stress is the cause of most, the underlying cause of most disease, right? So like, manage your stress,
throws off everything, and then your body's in disorder, leads to disease.
So I really, it wouldn't shock me if, I don't think it's like the pill for everything. And I do think that there's a really good, like modern medicine is a really beautiful thing. And more of these, it's, I don't know, ancient, like Western or, Eastern medicine. It's been around for a long time for a reason. A lot of Western medicine is actually based on it. So I don't know why it's an argument. Why can't we just have both?
I think
why is it one or the other?
I think we're starting to see that, you know, with the rise of like holistic doctors and things that are kind
functional
of
medicine.
Functional medicine. It's different than just going to your MD and getting a script for a medication. It's like, let's address the root problem. And that's an Eastern way of thinking. In the West, we're just like, Band-Aid. I'll put a Band-Aid on it and just whatever, and that's it.
Yeah.
But getting to the root of the problem can actually change your life for the better and more consistently. And we are starting to see that. There's a cool book, Eastern Body, Western Mind.
Ooh, I don't know this one.
And it's an older book, but it's about the merging of the two, Eastern philosophy and Western science and coming together. Really cool stuff. I have a question that I ask everybody on the podcast, and I did not forewarn you. I apologize. But
that's okay.
It's a food question. Okay. So, we're in a kitchen. Yeah. Greenfork is a food prep business. Yeah. It's Food for Thought podcast. Yeah. So, what would your last meal be if you were on death row for any reason and you were going to die tomorrow, but tonight you got to have
one meal,
whatever you wanted. It could be as much of anything. Yeah. You could have a smorgasbord. You could have one meal. You could have tons of different drinks. Opportunities are endless. What would it be?
Man, I want everything.
Everything.
I'm a very indecisive person, so this might take me a second.
Most people say comfort food things.
Yeah, it definitely would be comfort food. Yeah. It'd be like not that food. I hate saying that it's shit food because it's it's all part of a health food.
Sure.
A balanced diet, but it would definitely be like probably. Well, pizza's on my mind right now because my fiance, also Steve, and I just went to New Haven this past weekend it was my Christmas gift to him because he's a big pizza guy.
Yeah, that's like the homeland of pizza, right? That's
we went and just did a pizza tour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Was it like the thin crispy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up.
I think that like a really, really good pizza dish. Yeah. Yeah.
What to drink?
But like ranch dressing all over it. I didn't do ranch dressing.
Can't take the upstate out of the girl, huh?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. To drink, a really good spicy margarita.
Ooh, yeah.
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 Nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Mm-hmm. I love it.
And also a good Chianti wine. Just like probably like a $200, or I don't know. I'm about to die. Give me like $1,000.
Yeah, the best you got. Yeah, the best thing that's been aged forever and ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I think that like food can tell a lot about a person. You can tell a lot about a person through like their comfort, and I find it fascinating too the tie-in between food, like the psychology of food and how we view it, and eating disorders and all that stuff is fascinating. I'm part of this group called Food and Mood.
Oh yeah.
And
you're telling me about it a little bit.
Yeah, it's this woman Vicky and Kira and I put together this program on how to eat to protect your mental health or to improve your mental health, and it all comes down to blood sugar regulation, digestive health, and then habit forming. Forming new habits around food and relationships around food, and I imagine that's something you work with a little bit too.
Yeah, so when I first got into health coaching, I was like really focused on, this is a whole other conversation, but I was really focused on food, nutrition, and gut health mainly for clients, and I was very down the rabbit hole on that, and that was who I was attracting as clients too. That's what I was putting out there too.
Yeah.
Now and it's like kind of gone along with my own journey and my own journey with my stomach too, is like realizing that like, wow, stress probably had a lot more to do with it than the actual food, and the stress of trying to figure out what the food triggers were. Yeah. That's stress. Yeah. That was probably making my stomach issues worse. Not to say that the food triggers weren't real. Some of them are. Gluten's a big one for me. I have these enzymes now, which seem to be working, so that's cool. But anyways, but through that experience of my own, and then I think probably definitely from working at Headspace, because that got me into like moving away from like the food. Mental. So now I mainly work with it's really people along the gamut. Sometimes they still get clients looking for food and nutrition support, behavior change support, but it's mainly people going through any life transition, every life transition you can name.
Yeah, like I said to you off camera, I think when I was reading through all your stuff and what you do and what you've been posting and everything, I was like, this is all stuff that I've been working on like by myself, through, again, the spiritual practices or whatever. But I was like, I could have used you a couple months ago,
Come in for a session. Yeah. I need to put myself out there.
Yeah, but it's it is super powerful, the health coaching world. I mean, everybody's going through something at all times. Like things are changing constantly, and traumatic events happen, life events happen, and it's important for people to know that they're not alone and that there are people that can help. Reaching out to friends and stuff is great, but like somebody that knows what they're talking about and can help guide you through the process of healing, or goal setting, or whatever it is. If you want to feel better and be better, hire somebody that knows what they're talking about.
I couldn't agree more. My motto is that I think most people are walking around not even realizing that they're not living life at even like half their potential. And we were talking about this a little bit off camera, but there's therapy is wonderful, and should be utilized. And there's a population of people and arguably a larger population of people that maybe don't exactly need as a diagnosis or treatment, or maybe don't need talk therapy, but they're still not feeling great, or they're still not feeling mentally great or feeling optimal. So where do they go? And I think coaching is that gap, filling that gap.
Absolutely. I feel like that's kind of more my speed too. Like my therapy journey, I'm happy to talk about it. Like an open book on this podcast. But
therapy changed my life too. So,
it's huge. I mean, so I went to one therapist who helped me like really dive into my past and my childhood stuff and traumas and all that stuff, and it like ripped me to shreds and made me super raw. And then coming back from that, I was like, okay. And then I got another one who was a little bit more of like the coach side. So we didn't really dig into too much stuff. We just kind of just talking about what's going on in my life, what you can do about it, that kind of thing.
Forward.
Just, and that was very beneficial too. So I think there's value to both, but like, if you don't feel like you necessarily want to dig open those wounds and everything, like, you can still do work to get better.
And they actually pair really well too.
For sure. They
can pair really well.
I'm actually looking for another one too, because I want to get back in. And I feel like even if you like, I do have stuff going on, but even if you don't feel like you do, it's good just to have somebody to talk to that you can be fully honest with. When you talk to friends or relatives or whatever, like there's still that mask that we all wear. And it's nice to be able to drop that mask and be fully authentic. And I hope that people can do that just with everybody, but sometimes in our culture, there's things that you don't talk about, especially with strangers or whatever.
Especially as men.
I did an episode with my buddy and talking about men's health, and I'm part of a men's group that we meet up every so often. And, we talk about that, but it's true, we're taught to just sweep everything under and be strong and not talk about it and just be about it and show whatever. And we're also human beings, and we need to talk about that stuff and have a space to share with it, All the stuff you see on social media is like terrible. I feel bad for these kids. We were talking about like, these like red pill men's health people that are... have you heard that term before?
No, I haven't.
It's like this ultra masculine right wing kind of people that like hate on women and try to like, I'm the breadwinner alpha male type guy and
got it. Okay.
That type of thing. And they don't
show up in my algorithm probably for a reason.
It's I just happen to see it, and I feel like it's popular with younger kids. My friend told me about this article, going down the rabbit hole now, but that there's like a Russian like bots or whatever that have influenced TikTok for young men, and it's all about like that alpha male type shit. So anyways, men are human beings and we're allowed to have emotions and feelings, and it's okay to work through them.
Definitely. And thank you for leading the way on that.
I'm trying, I feel like it's hard too. I mean, I have to get over my own shit about that sometimes too, because one of the things that's helped me through all this is poetry and journaling. And so like I'll meditate and then I'll write what comes up, and sometimes it comes out as poetry or sometimes it's just blah, blah, blah. But part of me wants to share some of these things, but they're really like vulnerable, like emotional and vulnerable. And, you know, I kind of I don't share them because I don't know. It's like, I don't want to be that vulnerable online, you know?
Yeah.
So it's tough, but it's cool just to write it down, get it out, you know? I feel like when we talked about, you know, the thoughts becoming very powerful in your head,
Yeah.
like one way to deal with that is to write it out.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a diffusion exercise.
Is it?
Yeah. You're like, okay, I can see my thought there. It doesn't necessarily have to be truth. And it can be used as that, right?
Yeah.
It can also just be used to process.
Yeah. And just, that's what I think it is for me sometimes, is just to get it out and see if I can, because when I write, I like try to make sense of things, you know, and it's expressive, so it helps me be creative. And you know, like, what is it? How do you write out what it feels like to, you know, to see something crazy or whatever? Like the feelings that you have, you know, when you get a text from somebody that says we need to talk or something, right? Like that causes anxiety. So what is that feeling?
Right down the gut.
Right? Yeah. So how do you like express that? And you know, just write it out, and it's therapeutic. It's super cool.
Yeah.
So okay, that was great. You're awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, if people want to get a hold of you to work with you or just see what you have going on, I know you have that Substack.
Yeah.
How can they see what you've got going on? Like, where can they reach you?
Yeah, great question. So I have a website, RachelCharbonneau.com. My name is very hard to spell, so we'll put that in the show. You probably have show notes. Yeah, the show notes. Yeah, very French name. I also have my Substack, which is RachelCharbonneau.substack.com, but you can access that through the website, as well as my Instagram. I'm not very active on social media.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like just coming back to social media after like a 4 or 5 year just not.
Yeah, that's probably good for your mental health.
Oh my gosh, I still delete it sometimes for like a few weeks at a time. But that's just at Rachael Charbonneau. So,
okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I love those Substack articles. I think that's so cool. I think that's a cool outlet for creators and people to have more long form stuff, you know, which I enjoy. And it's all like in your words, and it's, you know, it's written nicely. So it's like a version of a blog, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Like Instagram for blogs.
It basically, yeah. And for me, the last really like 6 years of my career has been like in stealth mode.
You said that earlier.
It sounds like cooler than it is.
Yeah.
But like then I can't show anybody what I worked on.
Yeah.
So this has been, it's kind of been twofold. It's been like a way to share and kind of like come back to social media, but in a way that works for me.
Yeah.
And my mental health, because social media doesn't really work for my mental health.
Yeah.
But also to almost showcase like on a portfolio.
Right.
Just to showcase my knowledge and what I can do.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So check her out, everybody. Rachael Charbonneau. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Appreciate
thanks for
your time.
having me.
We'll catch up to you next time.
All right.
Stay healthy, my friends.